Okay, we had a meeting with the big guy, and it appears that I have to continue. So it's under protest, and the ruling on the field is to keep going. But before we do that, I just wanted to it's been an interesting few days. I think the last recording was on the 2nd, and now it's the 6th. We got Neil going in the background, so Diamond's in the house. Anyway, so we get a little more updates with the little event that could be coming forth soon. Forthwith soon? So, these are just kind of some recent Amazon purchases. Just to kind of put it out there that things are organizing. That we had to do another audible on the field. I think he gave me this audible, and yet made me stick to his rejection of the audible. And I didn't do a replay tape because I couldn't even stomach hearing it the first time when I read the letter. So, I haven't edited anything, and we're just going to keep going, and I'll throw up when I edit it later on. But in its place, got all these other things that's like, okay, it's a go. It's a go. And just, yeah, it's all coming together. All coming together. Yeah, and these guys, we had to do a redo that I just got them bulk. So I got a big, and then that'll be it because the budget for this thing has dramatically changed. And we'll just leave it at that. So, now, back to the letter. Okay, before we get back to it, a couple things are still on hold. I don't know if this is going to be included, but just want to throw it out there so people can see better. But then going back, so lastly, you talk about the IT guys that the boss has. If he doesn't want you to do something, it is not going to come out. And proof in the pudding? I tried printing this thing out. Each of these are a grid for a sheet of paper. No, this is for a foot. And I had this enlarged to print out 1-to-1 scale. 1 inch equals 1 inch. A smaller version worked out, which was bigger than normal, like 280% of, or what, like 1 in 10 type ratio. But when I went to 1-on-1, it did not come out. I mean, it was giving me all sorts of nonsense, but it took forever to figure that out because I'd print one and it was too small. So instead of just using, more paper, I had to use the back side. So now this thing's all printing out in little chunks and stuff, and none of it's making sense. Long story short, I probably spent 4 hours trying to get this thing to print out, and it would, no way. I tried going to, just smaller sizes, crop it into little pieces and just going across. It refused to do any of this. It got hung up on you, and for the life of me, it was the craziest thing. And I'm sure there's an explanation, but I tried copying this, putting it in the paint. I put this in paint and scanned it and used that to increase. Same thing. It just would not do a larger scale. So I've got to do this by hand, which isn't a big deal, but kind of like the ease and the exactness. But now I got to go back and grid this out and kind of redo it, which is fine. I mean, it won't be noticeable in the big scale. Hint, hint. But is that frustrating? And finally, it's just giving me garbage where, I just do one, just print out this row of pages. And it would give one of this, and then 5 of this, and 1 of these. But then, hold on. So these were just some of the efforts. I don't want to use $800 worth of toner. So you go in, you kind of clean it all up, but still, for the scale that it's going to. Then the other whole thing is when you zoom in, it's a completely different image. So what looks round like here turns out egg-shaped. So the bottom line is, no matter what, if he doesn't want you to do something, he will come up with a way that it doesn't get done that way. And this was a perfect example. Oh my gosh, this would not... Even when I got to this, it was hanging up. The page overlap was ridiculous. If that was one page, the next page was like this, then the third one would be like that, and then it'd be like this, and then that, and then that, and then that, and then that. It was ridiculous. And I mean, I took frustration out on just tearing up the paper, and it's like, okay, Mr. Phone Book. Just, oh, I cramped. But, oh, it was ridiculous. So, yeah, I mean, not the big deal. It's not a setback. It's just audible. I think he taught me a lesson. So, yeah, I think he was a little upset that I tried to call an audible, so I'm not going to do that again. He said, here's your audible. You think that, and the thing is, everything's coming out so easily on the big project, and all of a sudden the easiest thing gives me a 4-hour hang up. Everything else falling into place. Boom, 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 boom. Stuff is coming in. It's just like, oh, it's beyond perfect. This is incredible. So, and then 4 hours doing this. So it's like a reset. And that's, boy, if I could get a point across for the testimony is, he runs your life, nobody else. And if you draw attention to him, I mean, I don't know if the eyes are on you all the time, but if they aren't, he's got a team that will make sure his little mandates get carried out. So yeah, that's the takeaway for this whole thing. These are just little pieces of it, the example, but man, if he doesn't want you, and that's the thing is, I am so glad that I at least have the attention of him to, like, okay, so, or even if it's his team, say it's his team that, oh, God's too busy with you and your testimony. No, that's not what I'm saying is, he's omniscient, omnipresent, and the other sovereign. I knew I couldn't get them all three. I can never get all three of those out at one time. Omniscient, omnipresent, and omnipotent. Oh, Sweet Caroline is confusing me. But yeah, his sovereignty is beyond imaginable. And if he doesn't want something to happen, whether it's him or his team, will make sure it doesn't happen. Or, conversely, he'll make sure it does happen. Like all the not coincidences, but all the things are falling into place. There could have been 1,000 things to go wrong. Oh my gosh. People think they drive to work and they have the best thing. You could have gotten taken out. Oh, think of every pivotal moment you've had in your life and really ask yourself how much you are in control of it. Let alone how much are you in control of your, physicalness. And not talking about the Fritos eating and 64-ounce big gulp drinking person. Talking about the people who think that they look, well, I'm going to come on. I've talked about it before. Yeah, I'll stick up a picture. But where you think you're good and you're just kind of not. So anyway, well, let's dig into more misery on my behalf and look at that letter. Hold on. Okay, I was going to recap, but I just can't. But I did cheat a little bit, and I don't think the stuff that's coming up is bad. In fact, I think it explains why I had to write her and stuff a little bit more, with a little bit more clarity and lucidity, so hopefully. But if we recap, I'm telling her about my sewer problems and a bunch of other things that mean absolutely nothing because it's so awkward. How do you write someone that you haven't talked to in 20 years and tell them the reasons why? So I'm, page 3 of awkwardness gets down to, trust me, this is very, very difficult to write, but if it were me, I'd love knowing that I had such a positive effect on someone else, and go on from there. And as humble as life has been, which has kicked my butt time to time, you have no idea how much just knowing you has helped me through life. Enough said. I wish, but I must continue. Of course. Wordsmith has to do his little morning exercises. So yeah, fear after Laura died, it was first time I met her, Jill, and the fear of rejection was only superseded by sheer terror. So yeah, okay. In other words, rejection was another form of dying while still being able to breathe the next day. That's true. I could not get myself to accept if she said no. So that's why I just kept putting myself at her feet. Because she couldn't say no. I'm not asking her out for a date. So it's just social friends. Because if I said, do you want to go out for dinner? And she said no. Oh, I don't know. I couldn't handle that. And I couldn't, because it was like Laura just dying. I don't know how to get that point across. I know it sounds ridiculous. But I tell you, that's how it was. Anyway, a no response means a lifetime for me. Brian, just read the next sentence. If you've ever seen the movie Lucas, you'll know exactly how I felt. Enough said. Now, I used to watch that and reminded me of me, but I'm not sure why I'd write that. Just, the little dorky guy and the good-looking girl, but then there's a kind of a plain Winona Ryder. But I mean, she's cute, but ooh, I'm not sure what's up in the attic. But anyway, but I mean, just saying in the movie, and then Charlie Sheen. Okay, there's a creep factor times infinity. All right, never mind. Losing. Anyway, we're jumping off the road. I don't want to do that. I just bailed off the bridge on that one. Okay. And with reference to what happened to Laura, had my life gone on a normal path of rejection, I would have been rejected by Miss Illinois. Oh, I remember saying that. Yes, and I truly believe the answer would be no. Oh, okay. Let me, trying to read ahead. And with reference to what happened to Laura, had my life gone on a normal path of rejection, I would have then be rejected by Miss Illinois. Well, maybe not, but who knows. What I'm struggling to say here is simply this. Had I ever, and I mean ever, asked you out on a date, would you have said yes? And I truly believe the answer would be no, and I wouldn't have created this enigma of Jill that I did. And I hereby apologize for that sincerely. Oh, I quit too soon the other day. That's not bad. That's not bad. We're going to do this, even though I made sure that you can't find her, people. I guarantee you. She had 2 name changes. No way you're going to find her. Anyway, and not that it's a challenge to do it. Just shut up. Anyway, now enter the silly movie montage of all my stupid excuses to be around you without ever officially asking you out. Okay, I quit too soon. No wonder God said no, you're on your little Audible. Oh, boy, did he? Does that not make... Oh, Brian, you drive me crazy. I think that it can go either way, though. I like it this way because now it's... Okay, geotechnical. Not joctica, no. Okay. And we just covered this a few weeks ago. The airplane ride we took when I asked you to fly me over central Indiana to take pictures for my geotechnical... See, if I didn't do that, I've been reading along, and I said, take pictures for my geotechnical engineering class. So... I didn't do that. Geotechnical engineering class. Right, because geotechnical sounds like you're smart. where I told you it was for a study of glacial tills, beneficial for farming. Ooh, I actually remember trying to impress you with that level of detail. Yeah. I still have the 29 photos of stupid farmland packed away, with a couple cool aerial ones of campus and one of the most horrific landings I've ever encountered. Or maybe I was just holding the camera crooked. It's hard to tell, but the runway was way off to the left. Ah. Oh my gosh. Now I'll just insult her piloting skills. She knows I'm kidding. The horseback riding fiasco. During the summer, you were living at the teak house, and I had knee surgery. Right leg in cast. So it was the right leg. Boy, and I remember, or that's what I put. This was 2008. And I couldn't have sworn to that. But I guess I did then. Or I just said, okay, just right leg. I think it was the right leg that they chopped up. It was. It actually was. Because 95, Dr. Bernard, excuse me, Dr. Bernard Bach fixed it up. Oh, is he a good surgeon? Bernard Bach, the guy's so good, I bet you if he had to have knee surgery, he'd do it on himself. He's one of those where if you gotta do it right, you gotta do it yourself. Oh, Dr. Bach, the right knee's good, buddy. Even though it's kind of wobbly, it's holding up. 95, so 25, 20, a long time ago, 23 years ago. Yeah. And the ACL held up pretty well in 89, done by a surgeon at a cardiac hospital. Cardiac. St. Francis, Dr. Patella. Dr. Patella, because he was on my HMO. Oh, man, you did a great job. I hope you're doing well. I know Bach's doing well. Bach is actually, Bernard Bach he's like Oprah's knee guy or something. Well, I'm sorry for that, but hey, if it pays the bills. Anyway, I'm swerving all over the road here. Come on. So the horseback riding with the right leg, and the stupid horse rolled over while wandering uncontrollably in the creek. Then that trotting glue factory took off as I tried to chase it down. At that moment, the true grit of John Wayne in me died. Oh, yep. Oh, here we go. The umpteen times I tried to play racquetball, knowing the fundamental difference between tennis, which I can crush you at, and racquetball is a fixed wrist opposed to a snapping wrist. That is so true. She was an incredible racquetball player. I'm sure still is. But I was like, oh, when you played racquetball, were you distracted? I don't know. I don't know. Well, that's even too silly to ask. So, she could have been a horrible racquetball player. I don't know. But I think she won a bunch of tournaments and stuff. Anyway, and the thing is, I was halfway decent at tennis because it's a fixed wrist, and racquetball's a snapping wrist. It's like twish, unless you want to do a force spin in tennis. But okay, now I'm going off. And actually thought I could be remotely competitive. In 12 minutes, I was down 57-3, only because you stopped for a water break. Ha ha ha. I'm humbling myself before her once again. The umpteen letters between freshman and sophomore year when I was actually hoping you'd ask me out. Have we covered that? Like Mr. Font 150? No, it's not. The umpteen times I hope to cross your path, here we go, one way or another for the remainder of my time at Purdue, and then the umpteen trips, well, maybe about half a dozen to Dallas, making up ludicrous excuses as to why I just happened to be passing through. I'll expand on these travesties in a moment. Of course I will. Long story. Oh, God. I didn't. Oh, well, I have the thing in the back. Oh, God. Long story short, if you were to ever read At Times Life's a Little Fishy, you'd be reassured that I have absolutely no idea what I would have done if you actually said yes during any of those gutless encounters on my part. I don't know. We'll go with gutless for now, but we can come up with, what do we just off the top? Cowardly? Yeah. Craven? Craven? I don't use that word. So spineless? Yeah. I was so spineless my back fell apart. Weak? Timid? Yeah. Spiritless? No. That is not a synonym. Synonym. That's not a synonym. That's apropos. Actually, that's how I learned to spell that word. It's like, apropos? No, that's not how you spell it when I found out how to spell it. Okay, I got to do apropos, apropos. I don't know. That was a terrible spell. Okay, looks like I need a Ritalin check. Jeez. Oh my gosh, it's bad today. I'm talking halfway decent, but now the jumping, woof. Cars all over the road. All right, no DUI things. Okay. And, okay, so yeah, yep. So, oh, God. Gutless encounters on my part. What does that tell you about my character? I won't be a plot spoiler, but the ending is about as true to form as life permits. I think we've done Life's a Little Fishy. I'll have to check if it... I'm pretty sure we did. Every one of those back surgeries for corrective spinal fusion, well, all along, I didn't actually have a spine to begin with. There we go. I don't mean to sound so self-deprecating. Depreciating? Deprecating. Depreciating. I guess both words, right? Oh, don't keep doing this. People are going to go, depreciating? If you appreciate, don't you... Yeah. Okay. I don't mean to sound so negative on myself, but it gets back to the fundamental point of my writing to you. I apologize from the bottom of my heart for all the creepy behavior I've exhibited for 8 years or more. Hey, you know what? I can stop, because the way I'm fumbling and mind wandering all over, you know that scene in, was it Bruce Almighty? When the Steve Carell...
Welcome to Eyewitness News at 6 with Susan Ortega, Evan Baxter, Fred Donahue, Sports, Dallas Coleman, Weather, and now, Buffalo's #1 news team.
Good evening and welcome to Eyewitness News at 6. I'm Susan Ortega.
And I'm Evan Baxter, and here's what's making news. A potential scandal with the Buffalo PD surfaced today when the mayor demanded that the chief as a response to allegations. I'm sorry, I seem to have something stuck in my eye.
Somebody get him some water, please.
It looks like my new co-anchor may need a glass of water.
Oh, there we go. Sorry about that. In other news, the Prime Minister of Sweden visited Washington today, and my tiny little nipples went to France.
What did he just say?
Check the prompter.
Prompt just fine. Evan, read the copy, please. The copy's good. Just read it.
The White House Reception Committee greeted the Prime Rib Roast Minister, and I do the cha-cha like a sissy girl. I like a do the cha-cha. I'm sorry, we seem to be having some technical difficulties. In other news... Oh, my apologies. Do caca poo poo. Pee pee.
Character is doing the news and he gets all garbled and, quote unquote, God, who's Bruce Almighty, is changing everything around. I think that happens. I think there is control to just flounder someone up, because I've got a couple other stories where I tried to make a presentation and for the life of me, and all it did was just peel back another layer of the scar tissue of public speaking. So I think that if he doesn't want you to talk right or mind wander or dance around, he can, him or his team. I'm not saying he's one-on-one, but he could be. I don't want to take that away. That's blaspheming the Holy Spirit. So you gotta be careful. I'm just throwing out little hypotheses because no one knows actually how it all works. But you better give him the benefit of the doubt. So give him all credit, benefit of the doubt. So anyway, wow. So yeah, I think he can distract. So stop distracting me, please. I apologize from the bottom of my heart for all the creepy behavior I exhibited for 8 years or more. 8? It's nearing 8 decades. When I was such a lost soul when it came smack down to asking you out. I'm serious. I creeped myself out. But I want you to know why I did what I did. Maybe then you possibly will understand what your presence has meant to me personally, professionally, in almost every aspect of my life to date. Literally. I say this with the same unconditional innocence I had 30 years ago. Yes, 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 yes. Of my life to date. Literally. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, you wordsmith, you're so clever. Maybe this is when my brain blows up for good, but I'll try to move on. Toink. No, rats. Didn't work. Wow. Anyway, going back to the Dallas debacles, I am going back in June. I gotta see if I have those or not. Not that I'm going to read them, but I bet you they're there. Sounds like an HBO series. Yeah, Dallas debacles. That or a bad... No, we're not going there. I have to apologize again because I don't think a kid in junior high school would have acted like I did. But as usual, you are to blame. Nice. When I called and asked if you were going to be around, you said yes. See what I mean about you totally controlling and enabling? Ha ha. Without rehashing some of the initial trips, not including the time you went to a Cowboy game. Oh my God, we were to meet and the bug broke down. Oh God, it was Friday night and I was to go over to her house and the bug breaks down. Saturday, Brad's working on it. We're trying to get this thing going and it still doesn't work. And I called her up and she goes, well, I've got tickets to the Dallas game, the Cowboy game tomorrow, but if you can make it, that'd be great. I mean, stop by, and when I finally found her place on Sunday, note on the door, went to the Cowboy game. Now, I'm not going to say that she could have had that planned from the get-go, but from Friday night, I was to find her place. I couldn't find it, and then the bug was starting to oil light, and I limped over to Brad's place, and it just kind of fell apart. And all day Saturday, he worked on it. Sunday morning, or Saturday night around 10 o'clock, if I remember right, he got it going, and it was like way too late to start popping in. She goes, well, I've got tickets to the Dallas game, so if you want to meet tomorrow. And I said, well, I'll try. And by the time I got there, she was gone. Oh, forgot. And I've got the picture. Hold on. Yeah, I found this picture the other day. This is a Hobie thing I made for her. That's a drawing. I made that about 3 times. But I made one and gave it to her. But yeah, here's the other picture of the bug. No front seat. You can't really tell, but trust me, there's no front seat. And the back's all loaded up. And this was at Tom and Vic's place. Round 1. Oh, my God. So yeah, but yeah, that fell, I don't know. It was in an old envelope. Because I, put all the pictures you want to keep in a safe place. Well, oh God. But yeah, there's a decent shot of the buck. The thing that bothered me was maybe the cable, I don't know what's going on, because that kind of looks like, but actually you can kind of see it's open. It's not conclusive. It's not conclusive. Anyway, not the picture I was looking for, though. There's the picture I was looking for. Yeah, that was Saturday, because he lived in Arlington. I think he still does. And so I limped over. Look, it's just all over. Oh, I owed that. Wow, he did. Look at that. Oh, this was a write-up. This was the write-up. I didn't look at the skis. Oh my God. Oh, I never looked at that close. Oh my gosh. That was the trip. Wow. Look at the skis. Oh my God. No wonder it kind of exceeded the. Oh, look. But it'd do that if I just ran in to mail a letter to the post office. Oh, God, whoa. But yeah, Brad, but you're about 6 hours too late. Oh, I think you had something worked out with her that, just keep him there, Brad. I'll do anything you want. I'll buy you a plane or something, but just keep him there distracted. He didn't know anything about cars. Just stop him from coming up. I got a good excuse tomorrow. I'm going to the Cowboy game, but Brad, please do me a solid. Oh, please. Got the snort of the day out there. All right, hold on. Oh, see how these little things turn out? It's like, wow, that was the trip I was passing through. And I'd gotten her letter, and it was just like, oh, what do I do now? I'm already committed to, oh, God. And I think that was after the little sailing day and stuff, because that was when, no, because I didn't have a cast on. I got to think of the timing on some of these things. But that best day of my life was before I had all the surgeries. Well, yeah, I mean, it had to, because we were sailing, and there's no way. I mean, horseback riding's one thing, but she'd never take me out. Oh, is that a great day? You just get up, you make sandwiches, get a little cooler, throw in some pop. Oh, man. Oh, man. All right. Back to the reality. Without rehashing some of the initial trips, not including the time you went to the Cowboy game, my worst was the time I claimed to have an interview and then had no idea what company it was because I made everything up. You see, you were supposed to say, forget about the interview, let's go have fun and go sailing, or something to that effect. Oh my, I thought if, okay, everyone thinks you're a psycho at this point, why rub it in? The jury's out, they've handed in the sentence, you're just blathering on for no reason. In the back of my mind, I thought she'd go, you did this just for me? Oh, because I've been harboring these feelings for you. Yeah, that's kind of what I thought. And then when I saw this frumpy little look like, oh no, here we go again, it was like game over. What do I do with, toss this little bouquet of blah out from, 7-Eleven? Because I'm sure it wasn't more than $4 or $5.99 because money was everything at that point. Oh, God. It was just like, where's your luggage? What'd you bring? And I was like, I don't know. Why are you in jeans? And don't you have an interview? As the ball goes down the hill unwinding. Oh, God. Anyway, but in my defense, when I was in the process of leaving Marathon Oil back in '85 and moving to Chicago, I received a letter from you that literally changed my way of thinking. Regretfully, for the next couple of years, decades, You exclaimed in that letter after I lied about dating someone and breaking up. Sorry about your girlfriend, too. She obviously doesn't know what's good for her. I told you that's what you wrote. Sorry, but I still have that letter, and it's a direct quote. By the way, she went on to marry Bill Gates. Nice prophecy. Editor's note, that line alone was responsible for about 3 of the 5 next Dallas trips. You betcha. When she said that, oh, lordy, lordy, lord. You talk about that being 500-point font. Sorry about your girl, because I know I had the letter when I wrote this, and I just wanted to make sure I said it exactly. So I was like, hey, I'm just quoting you. You're the one that was in love with me. I just tried to deal with it. but it's like, sorry about your girlfriend, too. Oh, and she even used she obviously, and I know she underlined it. She obviously, that was probably 5 more trips down there. 3, no, that's 8 trips. Anyway, she obviously doesn't know what is good for her. And that, honest to God, people, ew, if you knew how it really felt like. Oh, gosh. So close, but yet so far. See, you know that little, in physics, freshman physics, they say, there's always a halfway point to, distance. And you can never preach, teaching infinity and everything. It's like, no, the distance from me to the wall is finite. They go, no, because cut that in half, and you cut that in half, and then you cut that in half, and then you get the molecular scale, which is silly to even talk about, but different subject. But there's always a half. So I'm always a halfway away from that final destination. Anyway, and in conclusion here, no, you've got 2 more pages, buddy. You're nowhere near concluding. And in conclusion here, what I've really meant to sincerely emphasize is this. The day we went sailing in your 16-foot Hobie Cat, the day we goofed around like a couple of young kids, eating pizza, drinking root beer, and pigging out on nachos at the end of the afternoon. She could pig out on nachos, and it was incredibly, incredibly endearing. Oh. God. At the end of the afternoon, nachos at the end of the afternoon was and still is purely the happiest day of my life, bar none. Oh, 500-point font. To add to this sentimental tsunami, the happiest moment, here we go, the happiest moment of my life, and this includes a rather credulous, very, very happy lifetime to date. There's a fat lie. The happiest moment was when you met me at DFW one time and hugged me when I got off the plane. I swear to God. Now, here's where I'm kind of, do I do the big G, little G? Because she is extraordinarily scripture-bound. Yeah, I knew that, but she didn't wear that. And I love that part about her. That you just knew you didn't stray from good. And I think that carried its way more so than like in a supernatural way, because all the dorky guys that I go and did, I think they stayed away from her for the most part. But I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, swear to God, I will never ever forget how lucky that made me feel in that single instant. That says it. If you think that makes my life appear sad, shallow, or pathetic, it should be interpreted as the complete opposite. I love my life. Oh, God. Yeah, here's where I'm hopped up on antipsychotics. It was just weird elation. It's just like, oh, double rainbow guy. Oh, everything's so beautiful. It was. I mean, it was.
Oh my gosh, it is a double rainbow. I cannot believe it. It's a freaking double rainbow. Oh my gosh. I've never, oh my gosh, look at that, all the way. Oh my heck, it's a double rainbow. Hey Cal, look at that, it's a double rainbow. Oh my gosh, it's a double. Hey Cal, where you going? It's a double rainbow. Look, it goes all the way. Oh gosh, I can't believe it. It's a double rainbow. I've never seen one of these in my life. It's a double rainbow. I cannot believe a double rainbow. I've been waiting so long to see oh look at all those colors. A double rainbow with all those colors. Holy cow. No offense. Holy cow, a double rainbow.
So I was like, and then this is sort of like, oh, my life makes sense. It makes sense. And that's why I love my life, because I don't want to be a downer and hook up. So, I wouldn't trade a knee surgery, back surgery, death, divorce, good times, and sadly, the time I wasn't sure if I could make it. I would trade absolutely nothing for those feelings I've experienced. To me, I would interpret these statements as simply being special. You were that 1 in a million in my life, and I hope you can be happy about that. Yeah, I told you about the birthday thing with the penguins, and yeah. Because that one was 2 1 in a million from 1 in a million, and I was 1 in the million of, that's in that Dallas thing. That I know is in that. So if Dallas, what do they call it? The big, what do they call it? The big debacle? Dallas debacles. The big debacle. Yeah, that's in there. I know that's in there. There's only a copy of it. Anyway. Or it might have been the mock-up for the real thing. Okay. Moreover, I don't think of Brian as... Oh, moreover, I hope you don't think of Brian as that creepy guy who wrote funny letters but never asked you out. Again, watch the movie Lucas, then have your brain blow up over Thanksgiving and think to yourself, is there anything I wish I had said to the most important people in my life but never had the opportunity to do so? Then live to tell about it. Okay, thought this is kind of creeping me out. Okay, then live to tell about it. Okay, that thought is kind of creeping me out. Anyway, I hope you really understand why this letter was created, to simply thank you. Please read on. Does she have a choice? And I'm going to stop here because I can do the intro. I have limited medical insurance these days, so treatment beyond the diagnosis was not an option. Long story, however, is easy to figure out. Unfortunately, the medical info indicated that after the viral infection incubated, the condition should have been fatal in 10 to 14 days. With some awkwardness, I signed up with a search firm on the internet. During that time, I thought my head was really going to explode and wanted a final message to reach you. During this period, after a long night, is when I wrote the following. I just wanted you to hear it from me first. If it does find you, message attached to the search firm's correspondence. And I was overwhelmed, thinking I'm going to die. And people are laughing at me and mocking at me, and I've got all these records saying that I've got HSE, herpes simplex encephalitis. I remember being drugged, and everyone's ignoring me, and everything's falling apart, and I get this overwhelming impulse, urge, whatever, to write her and pour it out. So I'm going to stop here, but here's the thing. Whoa! Hold on. All right, we got doink. All right, hold on.